Good evening. Well, it is the third day of February 2021. I hope you're all doing well. It's a Wednesday evening, soon to be Thursday morning. And this video is in memoriam of two agents who were killed on Tuesday morning, I believe it was, yesterday morning, serving a search warrant in Sunrise, Florida. And the two FBI agents are Daniel Alfin, who was 36, a father of one, and Special Agent Laura Schwartzenberger, who was 43. And they were serving a warrant on the home of a man named David Lee Huber, who was suspected of child pornography. This was a child pornography task force. And well, I don't have all of the details. I do have some of the details. Apparently, the agents went to the residence. Apparently, there was a knock and announce. The individual was watching them, then went to his Ring doorbell, which enabled him to see outside. He opened fire through the door, killing the agents. So this is a horrible tragedy. Typically, those who are charged with these type of crimes tend not to resist violently, but sometimes they do. And when they do, we pay with our lives, our brothers and sisters in law enforcement. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is just to drive home the fact that, as many people know, during the last year, law enforcement has gotten probably the worst publicity it's ever had. Essentially, one political party, as far as I'm concerned, turned against law enforcement in its entirety. And I almost say to them, and I try to stay non-political on this channel. I don't want to be political. But to a lot of politicians, they just brought the ashes of an agent who was killed at the U.S. Capitol building, who had been struck in the head by some fool with a fire hydrant, and he died afterward. Well, they were there, and they've turned it into a bit of a spectacle, and I'm sure this, the aftermath of this will be used for some political end or not. And sometimes you wonder if the only good officer in the minds of a lot of politicians, the only useful officer, is a dead officer. Had they just broke the door down and gone in there, they would have gotten the guy before he had retrieved his rifle. Okay? But they didn't. And it cost their lives. And it's over with. They're dead. And we'll move on to something else, I'm sure, tomorrow. There's no political hay really to be made of it. Maybe they'll make some hay of the fact that the guy had a rifle, a powerful rifle. Who knows? I mean, I've looked at the man's social media, what's left of it. He's posing with, he has a figure with 245s like so. So, I mean, when they do the pre-raid workup, which you always do, this is what we call a clue. And certainly there might have been some tactical mistakes. We love to post-mortem everything as police. You don't stand in front of a door when you're knocking on it because they can fire through the door. But that's water under the bridge. It should never have happened. They should have gotten in there and got a hold of the guy before he had a chance to get a hold of the weapon. But again, no-knock warrants are bad, because we can find instances where no-knock warrants resulted in somebody's death. And, so we just make life even harder and more difficult and more risky for those who have to enforce the law. This is really something for anyone who's going into this field to think of. I'm going to be doing a video in a couple days on how to apply to the FBI, because it's changed considerably, and it'll be in memoriam to these two officers, these two brilliant and brave and young agents. But again, the job doesn't get any easier. It's not made easier. A lot of the people who formulate these policies, they're not the same type of people who formulated the policies when I entered the agency. What do I mean by that? We had the World War II generation that ran the country. Ronald Reagan, World War II veteran. Maybe never saw combat, but the people who ran the Justice Department, the people who came to the heads of government agencies, the people who ran Congress, they had the same experience, and that is of serving in World War II. They knew what it was to go through a depression. They knew what it was to go through a world war. Many of them knew what it was to be in combat. Today's ruling class, by contrast, many of them have gone to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia. A lot of them have never been in a fist fight, folks, and that's something that you need to keep in mind. These people make your policies, but they're ready to weigh in on how much force should be used on this suspect or that suspect. A lot of them have never been anything more than a verbal argument in a college debate.
Joining me now from Capitol Hill, and Leanne, tell us about this bill. What is in it?
Allison, this bill is a direct response to the latest atrocities that have been happening to Black Americans at the hands of police. So what is in it? What it includes: it bans chokeholds, which is how George Floyd died. It bans no-knock entries in drug cases, just like how Breonna Taylor died.
False, false, and false. Okay, a chokehold is a carotid artery hold. Again, a carotid artery hold will kill you, but it knocks you out in 10 seconds. Okay, there was no chokehold used on George Floyd. Secondly, the Breonna Taylor case, her boyfriend opened up on the police. The cops weren't good shots. They hit her, but she was involved as well. So this is what you guys are going to have to contend with if you want to go into this, because you're going to have each other's backs, because these fools don't.
It does both of those things by tying federal funding to police departments implementing these reforms. It also attempts to hold police departments accountable and individual police accountable by creating a national
Again, these people haven't been in a single fist fight in their life. They don't know shit about what they're talking about, but hey, it is what it is. They get political hay out of it, turn one race against another. The problems in this country are not racial, they're class related. They're class related. We have the worst ruling class in the world. That's all I have to say about that, in the words of famous Forrest Gump. So they really don't know. Now that doesn't mean we should disregard what they say. Doesn't mean that we should condone illegal behavior. Doesn't mean that we run wild and do no-knock warrants where they're not necessary. But in this case, doing a no-knock warrant, or doing a knock-and-talk warrant, well, it alerted the guy and he got his weapons and he didn't mind dying, and that's what happens. So just appreciate it if you watch the remainder of this, and say a prayer for the souls of Laura Schwartzenberger and Daniel Alfin. Okay, God bless you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Louis Aguirre.
And I'm Janice Fernandez. Let's get right to your top story at 3. 2 FBI agents killed in the line of duty today. Authorities confirming those agents were fatally shot and 3 others injured while serving a warrant related to a case involving child pornography.
A show of support from agencies around South Florida, several departments holding moments of silence and lowering flags for the agents killed. And we're still working to learn more about the suspect in this case and the moments leading up to the gunfire.
Local 10 has live team coverage on this developing story. We're going to start things off with Ian Margol, who is live at the scene in Sunrise. Ian.
Just about an hour and a half ago, the FBI released the names of the 2 agents who were killed. They are Laura Schwartzenberger and Daniel Alfin, both of them special agents with the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The scene's still very active this afternoon as we are slowly learning more about what led up to those shots being fired.
Do not fire towards the front porch. We're going to be moving up. Do not fire towards the front porch on the second floor.
Tense moments Tuesday morning as an FBI raid in Sunrise turned deadly when 2 agents were killed and 3 others were injured by gunfire.
We're inside the development. We're still working our way up. We're going to extract the ground officers.
It started around 6 a.m. when law enforcement moved in on this apartment complex off of Nob Hill Road, just south of 44th Street. The FBI says they were executing a federal court-ordered search warrant as part of a violent crimes against children case. But then bullets began flying.
This FBI agent shot for Sunrise. I'm trying to get on Sunrise and get more info.
I have 5 patients. Right now, 2 patients are in and out of the hospital.
As for who shot the officers, the FBI tells us the subject is dead but has not released that person's identity. The two agents who were killed have been identified as Special Agents Laura Schwartzenberger and Daniel Alfin. Two other agents are at nearby hospitals where we're told they are in stable condition, while the fifth agent who was hurt was only treated at the scene. Tuesday afternoon, FBI Director Christopher Wray released this statement, saying in part, quote, "Every day, FBI special agents put themselves in harm's way to keep the American people safe. Special Agent Alfin and Special Agent Schwartzenberger exemplified heroism today in defense of their country. The FBI will always honor their ultimate sacrifice and will be forever grateful for their bravery."
Special Agent Alfin was 36 years old. He entered the agency in 2011 as an IT specialist and was assigned to the Miami Innocent Images Initiative, which investigates those involved in child pornography, the raping and abuse of children. Special Agent Laura Schwartzenberger was 43 years old, been an agent since 2006. She's a mother of two. So may God rest their souls. May His perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in the peace of Christ. And may we all take a few moments, and stop and think about how we treat law enforcement. For the last year, all I've heard, no-knock warrants are the devil. They're the worst thing in the world. And they're not always the worst thing. Sometimes it is the only option that a police officer has. I don't know for sure that was the fact here, but I'm pretty sure that it was, because he fired right through the door, and he was looking at him through his doorbell. So they undoubtedly knocked and announced. It's 6 a.m. The circumstantial evidence points to that this was a knock and announce. So hopefully this just won't be a moment that passes with no recognition or any observation of the various aspects involved, but not only a tribute to their lives, but also so that they don't die in vain, and so that the same thing doesn't happen again. Okay, thank you.